Yeah, the first thing I do want to talk about, let's just talk about AcTivision and Bobby Kotick. There was a new report this past week from the Wall Street Journal talking about what did he know and when did he know it in regards to sexual assault allegations and sexual harassment allegations against some employees, some high-ranking employees at AcTivision developers. The key thing here is, and really, I think if you frame this as this is exactly what Jay Allenbrack was accused of, and he had to step down from Blizzard, being the head of Blizzard under Bobby Kotick, is that Bobby Kotick knew that someone, Dan Bunting, one of the key people in charge of Treyarch, I believe, was accused of sexual harassment, and credibly, and he stepped in to stop HR from firing him, basically. Bobby Kotick stepped in personally.
Tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be one of the craziest weeks I can remember as a YouTuber who focuses mainly on the gaming news out there, because honestly, Hollywood is dead to me right now, and there might be for the foreseeable future. I like to play video games. I like to talk about them. And somebody who I would not consider a gamer bro in the urban gangster sense is Bobby Kotick. Robert, to you and I. Because whenever that guy ran AcTivision, maybe not into the ground, but I always figured that this is a guy who doesn't care about, allegedly does not care about his employees who churned out those great, well, the then great Call of Duty games, right? And other IPs under his tenure. And of course, when he parted ways with Microsoft after they bought AcTivision, I still can't figure out why AcTivision wanted to be bought out by Microsoft, one of the worst companies out there, by the way. I have really no clue why that even happened. It's kind of funny now that karma is coming around again, and I'm not quoting a Carly Simon song there. No, I'm actually talking about the fact that Gizmodo and Kotaku, those idiots, those morons, are being sued by Bobby Kotick. And I think it's actually a great video to bring to you today, because this is just absolutely insane. And it makes me think, what kind of a world are we living in today when somebody you despised once because of the, shall I say gangbanging? It's probably the worst phrase to use, was all up against him. And look, Bobby Kotick isn't a perfect human being, but I will say this is actually really quite incredible. So let's break it down today. And if you like this video, make sure you comment, subscribe, and more importantly, like the video, because I've lost subscribers in the last 2 weeks. And I'm not going to bother telling YouTube anymore, because every time I do, it's like, oh, we're sorry this is happening to you, but blah, 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 all that bullshit. But let's get on with it today, folks.
Yes, hallelujah, it's the video show. And now, the man the BBC calls
Jason King on Kung Fu Hot Dog.
So over at the Insider Gaming Network, courtesy of Grant Taylor Hill, Robert Kotick files defamation suit against media outlets over discrimination comments. Yikes. And this is Bobby now. This is what he looks like. You can actually see him on a podcast called Grit, the Grit podcast. The guy's lost a lot of weight. He actually looks good. Bobby Kotick, the former CEO of AcTivision Blizzard, has filed a suit in Delaware against Geo Media, naming Kotaku and Gizmodo specifically. The suit complains that both outlets attempted to smear Kotick by going out of their way to besmirch his name by mentioning false, withdrawn allegations of discrimination and workplace harassment. Yikes. So in other words, whenever they ran an article, they would still throw in those allegations to remind the viewer that Bobby Kotick is a piece of shit. And of course, you know, folks, I've spoken ill about this guy before, but honestly, my comments are a lot more tamer, or my opinions rather, than say Jim Sterling, and I'll get back to him. And yes, Jim, you are still a him, despite all the estrogen you've taken to ruin your body, but we're going to get back to him in a short while, because man, that's Bobby Kotick's biggest fan, shall we say. So this is an archived article from Eurogamer, and it's from the Wall Street Journal. And again, if you want a reminder of what allegedly happened, there was a phone call, by the way, where Bobby Kotick threatened a female employee, and I think that was settled out of court. But this highlighted section here that I've got here for you, as far says this: it's claimed, for instance, Kotick was directly informed of allegations made by a Sledgehammer Games employee that a male supervisor had, and I won't use the other words, done bad things to her from 2016 to 2017 after she was pressured into consuming too much alcohol in the office and at work events. A lawyer for the woman allegedly wrote to Kotick threatening AcTivision with legal action, revealing their client had reported the incident to the company's HR department. HR, I used to work for HR. They're a bunch of slimy toads. When it suits them, when the narrative is on their side, they're going to be fully investigative. But if it's not, they'll just cast it aside, which is ironic because you think an HR department will have compassionate individuals. Anyway, I digress. And other supervisors in HR, but nothing happened. AcTivision is said to have reached an out-of-court settlement with the woman within months, but Kotick failed to inform the company's board of directors about either the alleged or the settlement. The same email to Kotick reportedly highlighted another incident which a second Sledgehammer employee, Eduard Rodrich, had been accused of sexual harassment after a night of drinking in 2017. So it ties in with the same timeline as the first incident. Speaking to the Wall Street Journal, Rodrich said that the result of an internal investigation by AcTivision after the event resulted in 2 weeks of paid leave and the opportunity to remain at the company in a different position. Rodrich claims AcTivision HR requested he keep this matter confidential at the time. So it's not a really good look, is it, for Bobby Kotick at that moment in his life? It's interesting. And you know, whenever you watch Bobby on a podcast or in an interview, he's very softly spoken. And I remember when Meryl Streep was in The Devil Wears Prada, and she didn't know how to play Anna Wintour until I think it was like somebody who pulled her aside and said to her, Streep, the best way for you to portray Anna Wintour as an absolute monster is to speak quietly. The people in business who actually run the corporation are not the tyrannical Saddam Hussein types with the iron fist. They're the exact opposite.
So there was a CEO of Vivendi Games, and he wanted to be the CEO of the combined business.
The whisperers. And I can kind of see an element of truth in that. Is Bobby Kotick that way inclined? Well, I don't know the man. I don't know anybody who's worked with him. I don't know if people speak ill of him. I don't think he's closest friends like Jack Tretton, who was a former CEO of PlayStation Games. I don't think he would speak ill of him because those two are best friends.
I was really into what was known as esports. I was a commentator. I ran a professional Warcraft 3 team, and then that was how Blizzard took notice of me. They asked me to come out and cast some of their tournaments, and from there, I got my opportunity here.
But anyway, Jim Sterling, I mentioned him to you before, and this is a guy who has gone after Bobby Kotick for years on his channel. And look, Jim Sterling, when he was a dude, I found him thoroughly entertaining. But this was a video he made a year ago about Bobby Kotick's love life. And I will warn you folks, there is some strong, very strong language in the section I'm going to play to you. But as has been pointed out, why hasn't Bobby Kotick gone after Jim Sterling? I find it very peculiar, actually. Even though Sterling disguises the video as it's a parody, it's not meant to hurt people. Well, the thing is, when you hear this section here, you might want to think differently, folks.
fact, it's specifically about Bobby Boy as an individual, some viewers were nonetheless uncomfortable, and I really don't need the aid of infernal embellishments to make the point that Robert A. Kotick is a despicable fucking wanker. He's also started calling those photoshops anti-Semitic himself. Like, he's worked out that play, so don't give him the ammo. That said, whether we do this with horns or via some other method, we absolutely, positively need to ensure that Bobby Kotick's dating life remains hilariously fraught with the ever-present threat of women finding out how much of a cunt he is. In fact, if you are currently dating or are thinking about dating Bobby Kotick and are somehow watching this video, run away! Run away from that man! He's not just bereft of empathy and decency, he's notably unhinged to the point of threatening to have people murdered. Run away!
You know what? I think that's a very strong accusation. Without a shred of proof, Jimbo. Where's the proof coming from? Yes, you've got some insiders for sure in the world of video gaming, but bro, man, you can't say stuff like that, even in jest. I mean, I'm surprised that... I'm sure Bobby Kotick knows who Jim Sterling is. I'm pretty sure he does, but he's not taking action against him. And the thing with Gizmodo, it's not like they're a poor company, right? They've got various other people under their wing. They've got a pretty good turnover a year, but it'll be interesting to see if his actions puts Gizmodo and Kotaku out of action. Kotaku, whose former employee Alyssa McCante is suing a compadre of mine called Smash JT over reporting that he did about her her antics online, right? It's okay for her to go after other people and harass other folks online, like my friend Toasty with the Mosties 69 on YouTube, whose live streams I've occasionally popped in and out of. She went after her recently because she was talking about her as a topic in her live stream, and that was all fair game, wasn't it? But then again, you know, when someone like Alyssa, who's a piece of shit, by the way, sends Jeff Tarzia's wife a message on Facebook to allegedly refute or report that he's been behaving badly behind the scenes, she's a piece of shit. And then she got removed from Kotaku because they know she's a liability. And now she's suing Jeff Smash JT for defaming her, which that's not how the court of public opinion works, Alyssa, you dumb, stupid effing cow. Honestly, and I've actually said this before on X, she only targets people of a white origin. She won't go after me or anybody else of my color who speaks about her because she's too scared. That's what it is. As long as you're white or you got a greasy hair like my guy, Words of Paradise, it's open season, baby. But listen, I'm going to keep a very close eye on this. It's really cool. By the way, before I do shoot off, actually, I've got to show you this really awesome screen cap from Smash JT, where Gizmodo stated that Bobby Kotick, disgraced former CEO of AcTivision, reportedly wants to buy TikTok. He never did. What would he do with TikTok? It makes no sense. But as Jeff later points out, in an updated version, they removed the word disgraced. Is this true? Oh, it's still, well, look, it is still here actually. But I don't see, have they actually made an amendment? Let's have a look. Oh, that post is unavailable. Oh, that's interesting. Well, anyway, for my record and for yours, your honor, it's still here. I've captured it. So I thought they had removed it again, but this is on Gizmodo's website. This is 2024, March the 11th. So my God, that's just like over a year ago that was posted. That is pretty funny, folks. But anyway, guys, I hope you found this video entertaining today. I certainly did. I'm in a weird, precarious position, not a 69, where I'm actually on Bobby Kotick's side. I hope he wins. The guy doesn't need money. He's got plenty of it. I just wished he was a bit more invested in the IPs he threw money into, and maybe, hopefully, did treat some employees very nicely. in that sphere, but who knows. Anyway, Bobby Kotick has nothing to worry about. He's got his very luxurious New Hampshire mansion, or wherever it is he lives in New York. But on that one, folks, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like below, smash that subscribe button, and I'll catch you catching me for the return of the next video.
Supposed to be studying for the California bar exam, and next to me is a magazine for one of my favorite games of all time that's going to come out by AcTivision called MechWarrior 2. And I just remember how excited I was when I saw that magazine. And I thought to myself, I want to work in an industry that's going to make me as excited as I am right now.
Don't let your dreams be dreams. Dream of me. I'll make your dreams come true. Everything's possible with me.